Welcome back to the Homestyle MMA Podcast. Sean Van Buren here for episode 37. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great run. Unfortunately, this is going to be the last episode of the podcast, at least for now. Maybe I pick this back up in the future, but podcasting actually takes up a good bit of time. I like to put good product forward to my listeners. So while watching all the events, which I would typically do anyways, I am typing up an analysis of the fights, doing a lot of deep dive research into the fights beforehand to try to tell you who I think will be the winners, what I think will happen for each fight. And then the recording itself. Obviously for each podcast episode, you know by the length of the episode at least how long I recorded. That's after editing. So I listen back to my episodes, I edit them, and I try to provide you the best product that I could. It's been a lot of fun. I've loved doing the podcast, but I've unfortunately hit a spot in my life where I just don't have the amount of time to commit to giving my listeners the best possible product that I could put forward. So because of that, we are going to be stopping with the Homestyle MMA Podcast. I'm going to keep the social media pages up. I'll still post my Verdict scorecard predictions. I'll still post how I do on Verdict. Maybe let you know who I think will win each fight. I like to circle the graphics, let you guys know what I think will happen. So I'm not giving up on the podcast entirely. It's something I'd love to pick back up in the future. At this point in my life, I just don't quite have that time available. I'm working right now while also going to school. I have a son I take care of as well who I love dearly. And I'm just not quite finding the amount of time that I need to really commit myself to the podcast. Unfortunately, it doesn't pay the bills. I love to do it. It's a lot of fun. I will still be watching all the fights for the UFC and the PFL playoffs. I think that's a tremendous format. So this is goodbye for now, hopefully. I hope to pick the podcast back up at a future date, but I don't see the time opening up until I at least finish school, so it'll be a few more months. So I thank you, everybody, who've tuned in and listened. I appreciate all the support that you've shown to me. I appreciate you sharing the Homestyle MMA Podcast, whether you knew much about the sport prior to the podcast or not. Any support at all has been appreciated, so thank you so much for your time. This was Sean Van Buren on the Homestyle MMA Podcast. Y'all have a good one.